So, LARP and costume. Now it might seem like a scary thing when you're first getting started into LARP and you want to have a really kick-ass costume and actually you can't sew and your budget's quite limited. So what do? Well, it's fine, I can't do this. Now one of the important things to remember is that when you're just first starting LARP and you're just starting out, your costume doesn't need to be perfect. What you can do with your LARP costume though is be savvy about it. Now hopefully with these 5 or so tips I will be able to put across to you what you can do to essentially build your LARP costume together and put kit together, because one of the most fun things I think about LARP is yes, you can be role-playing with someone in a really intense conversation, or you can be fighting like a huge barbarian line or have a really cool duel, but what is another really cool thing about LARP is putting your kit together and forming that character from the ground up before you've even hit play. Now I will say you don't need to know how to sew to be able to effectively put your LARP costume together, and you don't need to earn like a bajillion pounds to be able to put together a really good, decent bit of kit. One of the things I will be doing is something called a LARP capsule wardrobe. Now I know I sound like something you'd see on like YouTube somewhere else, being like, oh, here's my capsule wardrobe, and you've got like a really cool coat and like a really nice blouse and whatever. That's that, but for LARP. The 5 things that you should take with you to events that will keep you in good stead for literally years. I've had a bunch of this stuff for a good 3 or so years right now when I first started, and it has seen me through various number of events and NPCing and lots of different roles, and it's great. So what do you need to know about your LARP costume? Well, first off, layers are your friend. Now I don't mean like Shrek layers, you know. Layers with your LARP kit are invaluable. You will probably be outside and it will rain or it will get muddy, and the fact that you can switch around your kit and layer over the top or take layers off when it's too sunny or warm, and trust me, I have LARPed in a bunch of heat waves before and it is awful, and also really good to know that your LARP kit is such that you are not just in like one wool dress all the time and you're screwed if the temperature suddenly becomes like 35 degrees and you're like, oh my god, I'm melting. Layers are really good for combating all sorts of weather, and if you build your kit around layers of clothing, so you start from like a shirt and work your way out, or you start from, so like I really want a jacket and you work your way down, it's really good and versatile for all sorts of weather and all sorts of occasions that you might find yourself in as your character. Now I'll get into how you can effectively layer up your kit in a minute, but this is a really good idea to bear in mind when you're thinking about how to put your kit together. Now your second kind of tip that I would say is that when you design character kit, and I know this helps me quite a lot, is think about the maybe 3 main colours or a colour palette which you want to base your kit around. So in a bunch of characters I've had, one of them's had a very kind of blue and white and silver colour palette, one of them's had like a brown and red and green one of them's had like a yellow and red and black colour palette, and these have all kind of set a basis for her pieces of kit for my characters that I've managed to build out and around. Linked to colour palette is also an aesthetic, and usually this will be linked to the lore and the setting guide that you will be attending the event of. So say it's a 1940s-esque, that's kind of your aesthetic, or say it's a fantasy one, that's also your kind of aesthetic that you've got to go for. When you're making your character, and I found this quite useful when making character kit or compiling character kit, is what are the 2 or 3 main items that define your character, essential bits of you would not be your character without them. Now the beauty of that is that it can literally be anything. It does not need to be like a £1,000 piece of set of armour that is your character's. It can be a really cool scarf, a tie, some glitter, a hoodie, modern day items, any kind of items you can pick up that really define and sink into your character, and once you've got that, then that's a really good basis to go off when you're designing the rest of your kit. So your third thing is tat is your friend, and I mean, when I say tat, I mean stuff like accessories, so like necklaces, scarves. In case you haven't noticed, I really like scarves, earrings, flower crowns, so many, of course I'd say flower crowns, so many sort of tiny bits of items that you could wear, that you can take with you, that build up your character. And also the really good thing with tat when it comes to character costume is that if it's you can buy it really cheaply and it can still make a character the character. And also it is a really cool piece of kit to possibly keep as a memento or an item that you might want to give away later in character. I've done this with books and rings and necklaces, and I know it's like really cheap and it's cost me like 50p or a pound or something, but in terms of an in-game character item, that sort of kit can become priceless and invaluable within the game and add so much to your game. So your fourth thing, charity shops are great. Don't worry about massive like websites that you're going to go to. Probably avoid certain websites. I think we all know which ones. Charity shops are really good if you're near them or you can find them for selling lots of really good items, especially if you're going to like a modern day LARP, or especially if you're going to find accessories that fit that or fit any kind of LARP, so you can find more necklaces or bags sometimes as well. So just as an example about stuff that you can pick up in charity shops that I have for like a character, so I picked up this necklace, which is a very small blue flower necklace, which I used as a main piece of my character's kit in Empire for the last 2 years or so. She's now sort of grown out of this necklace, but it's something that was integral to her kit and her character for those 2 years. And then something else I managed to pick up at a trader's stall at a LARP festival, but you could probably find them in charity shops or online fairly cheaply, is this drinking mug. It's a nice shiny bronze colour, and it holds quite a lot of hot drink. I've had a lot of hot chocolate in this, so you know, it's pretty good. Now your fifth thing would be get kit that is adaptable, and I guess that somehow links into layers, but when you've got adaptable kits, this is stuff that you can wear over many different systems. Don't worry about recycling your kit for different characters. This is what I meant by it all kind of ties in. To get stuff that is a few things that are identifiable to that particular character, and then the rest of it can just be stuff you have around your house or stuff you have lying around that you can double up to a lot of stuff. So for quite a few LARPs I've done, I've not spent a lot of money on a lot of kit, and what I have done is looked at the wardrobe I have and the clothes I have and built a costume around that, and then added on accessories and added on extras. Now, what do I mean by a LARP capsule wardrobe? This is the top 5 things that you should take with you all the time, and you can wear them at various different events. This is the stuff you should spend your money on. This is the stuff that you should make sure you have, so that you are able to be quite versatile with the things you go to. Now obviously this is more based at like your fantasy element kind of LARP, but with your modern day the similar stuff still applies in terms of layering. So yeah, let's get to it. So first off, you've got me in a tunic, and your first bit of items would be something like a tunic or a top. This is me in a tunic, it's made of wool. This is something that I picked up quite cheaply. It's very good as your basic base layer. Now next up we've got a belt. Surprise, surprise. A belt is really useful, as it can be as basic as you like, to tie all your bits of kit together, to hold your trousers up, let's be honest, and to be able to hold like pouches and bags off of it as well. And it sort of nicely tucks around the middle, and it can, yeah, add a bit of definition to some possibly shapeless kit that you've got going on. Now then, we have a hood. This hood I got for about 10 quid from a trader's. It is really nice and comfy. It's actually a really good bit of kit to protect you from the rain and the elements when it gets a bit grim. Now next up we've got another sort of overcoat, which it's very simple cut, and it is made of quite thin wool, and it's very good as like an overlayer when it gets colder at night, and it's cut in a way that you can pretty much layer it over anything you like, and it's also got some nice embroidery around the side of it. Finally, you have a pouch, and you will be surprised at the amount of in-character crap you have on your person. And having an in-character bag or a pouch or something you can just hang off your belt is incredibly useful. So in here I've got some money, I've got some, I don't know what that is, I've got some in-character fizz reps, so some cards. This is my Empire pouch, and you know, you can handle all sorts of stuff in there. I think I've got some lip salve in there as well. So yeah, those are your 5 main items that I think you should have. So hopefully that video was quite instructive for you, hopefully that video was helpful to you. If you have any more questions, if you have any queries or want to know more about sewing and costuming in particular, don't hesitate comments or just message me, and I will hopefully get round to making more content.